Where did you go? Not where did they go? Not why did they change? Not why did it hurt so much? But where did you go while you were trying to keep love? Where did your voice go? Where did your needs go? Where did the part of you that used to tell the truth go? Maybe you've been looking back at everything that happened and asking the wrong question. Maybe the question is not only, why did they treat me that way? Maybe the deeper question is, who did I become while trying to be chosen? Because sometimes losing yourself does not look dramatic. Sometimes it looks quiet. It looks like changing your tone so the conversation doesn't turn into an argument. It looks like saying it's okay when it is not okay. It looks like convincing yourself that you don't need reassurance because needing reassurance made you feel weak. It looks like laughing at something that hurt you because telling the truth felt too risky. It looks like becoming easier to love by becoming harder for yourself to find. And maybe that's the part that hurts the most. You didn't disappear all at once. You disappeared little by little, bit by bit, one swallowed sentence at a time, one ignored feeling at a time, one need you stopped naming, and one boundary you talked yourself out of. A moment where you chose peace on the outside when something inside of you went silent. And because it happened so slowly, maybe you didn't notice it at first. Maybe you thought you were being patient. Maybe you thought you were being understanding. Maybe you thought you were being mature. Maybe you thought love meant adjusting, compromising, trying harder, holding on. And sometimes love does require patience. Sometimes love does require grace. Sometimes love does require learning how to meet someone in the middle. But it shouldn't require your complete disappearance. Love should not require you to become smaller and smaller until the real you can barely breathe or be seen. Love should not require you to stop asking for what you need just to avoid being treated like your needs are too much. Love should not make honesty feel dangerous. And love shouldn't make silence feel safer than the truth. Maybe you did get quiet just to be loved. Not because you had nothing to say, but because every truth started to feel like a risk. You learned which words changed the space. You learned which feelings made someone pull away. You learned which needs were too inconvenient to name. So you edited yourself. You softened the sentence. You lowered the ask. You swallowed the hurt. And you smiled when your heart was too tired to continue. You became careful. So careful. Careful with your words, with your tone, with your face. You know, those nonverbals that say everything without you saying a word. Careful with the timing. Careful with the truth. And eventually, being careful started to feel normal. You stopped noticing how much of yourself you were actually hiding. You stopped noticing how often you were choosing the connection over your own nervous system. You stopped Noticing how often you are asking yourself to need less, to feel less, to say less, and to expect less overall. And still, somehow, keep giving more. That kind of disappearing can feel like love when you're afraid of losing someone. It can feel like devotion. It can feel like loyalty. It can feel like being the bigger person. It can, at times, feel like peace. But peace that costs you your voice is not peace. It's survival dressed up as maturity. And you were surviving. That matters. You didn't disappear because you were weak. You disappeared because something in you was trying to stay connected, trying to stay chosen, trying to stay safe, trying to keep the relationship, the family, the friendship, the approval, the belonging, the hope. So you adapted. And adaptation is not failure. It's what people do when something feels uncertain. When love feels conditional or based on you giving something in return for what you need. And sometimes you still don't get it. When honesty has consequences. When being full of yourself starts to feel like a risk. So before you blame yourself for shrinking, for surviving, stop for a minute. Before you look at the version of you who accepted less and call that version foolish, just pause. That version of you was doing the best they could with safety they thought they had. That version of you was trying to protect you from losing something that mattered. That version of you may not have known how to leave, or to speak, or to ask, or choose differently. But that doesn't mean that version of you deserves your cruelty. That version of you deserves your compassion. Because no one taught you that your needs could be named without apology. Maybe no one showed you that being loved should not require constant self-editing. Maybe you learned early on that being easy made you safer. Easy to love, easy to manage, easy to praise, easy to keep, easy to overlook. And now maybe you're realizing that being easy for someone else came at a cost to you. You became hard for yourself to hear, hard for yourself to trust, hard for yourself to recognize. And that's why the question matters so much. Where did you go? Where did you leave yourself? Was it the moment you stopped saying or admitting, that hurt me? Was it the moment you started saying, I'm fine? Because continuing to explain was exhausting. Was it the moment you stopped asking for reassurance because you didn't want to seem needy? Was it the moment you convinced yourself that crumbs were enough because at least they were something? Was it the moment you accepted being misunderstood because being understood felt unavailable? Was it the moment you decided that keeping peace mattered more than keeping yourself? There's no shame in noticing. There's no shame in finally seeing what survival asked of you. Seeing it doesn't mean you failed. Seeing it means a part of you is waking up. A part of you is reaching back. A part of you is whispering, I miss me. And maybe that whisper is the beginning, not a dramatic reinvention, not a perfect healing journey, not a sudden moment where everything is fixed. Just a small return. One honest sentence. One named need. One moment where you stopped pretending you're fine. And one moment where you ask, what do I actually feel? One moment where you tell yourself, even if your voice shakes, you do not have to come back all at once. You can come back slowly. You can come back gently. You can come back in pieces if that's what works for you. You can start with the part of you that went quiet. You can start with the need you kept dismissing. You can start with the boundary you kept moving. You can start with the truth you kept softening so someone else would not have to feel uncomfortable. You can start by saying, yes, that did hurt me. You can start by saying, I needed more. You can start by saying, I was not too much. I was just asking from a place that had been ignored for too long. You can start by saying, I don't have to disappear to be loved. Because you don't. You don't have to disappear to be loved. You don't have to silence yourself to be safe. You don't have to shrink your needs to keep your place in someone's life. And you do not have to become unrecognizable just to be chosen. And if you did disappear, if you did get quiet, if you did lower your needs, and if you did stay longer than you now wish you had, just listen to me. You can still come back. You are not gone forever. The real you is not destroyed. The real you may be tired, hidden, careful, quiet, unsure, but still there. Still waiting for a safer place to breathe. Still waiting for you to stop abandoning yourself for the chance to be kept by someone else. Still waiting for you to remember that love requires a disappearance is not the same as love that knows how to hold you. So today, don't make yourself prove everything. Don't make yourself solve the whole story. Don't make yourself heal the entire wound before you're allowed to take one step. Just ask one question with honesty. Where did I go? And then, without judgment, listen. Maybe you went quiet. Maybe you went small. Maybe you went numb. Maybe you went into performance mode. Maybe you went into pleasing or proving or surviving. Wherever you went, you're allowed to come back. Not with shame, not with punishment, not by hating the version of you who did what they had to do to survive, but with tenderness. Give yourself a break. With truth. With one small decision to stop leaving yourself behind. Because you were whole on arrival. You were complete when you got here. Before you started to shrink. Before the silence. Before the self-doubt. Before the need to be chosen taught you to disappear. You are already worthy. And you are still worthy now. So come back. Take your time. Come back one honest sentence at a time. Your voice can come home now. You don't have to be afraid to speak anymore. Your needs can come home now. Don't pretend that you don't need love and care and compassion. You and your truth can come home now. Welcome back.